This is Pastor Michael-Vincent Crea. My human rights ministry pro bono for 30 years, One World Life System, started in D.C. after being fired for reporting a priest having relations with a Brooklyn teen, only to be laughed at by the Cardinals' Monsignor Laurie, who's now Archbishop Laurie of Baltimore. I'm appealing now to President Joe Biden. This is supposed to be National Brothers Day. Well, let's be inclusive. National Brothers and Sisters Day. And it's also 58 years to this day that I received my first Holy Communion. But because people over 18 are not being included, and myself being violated in the New York seminary by someone who was denied Catholic priesthood later as a deacon, I have lost over 12 homes. I've lost house and home and everything for the gospel's sake. So I appeal to President Joe Biden, who greeted us in 2017 after the Cornell convocation speech that he gave, Teranga and I. And this is my service dog. And we just took the time to get our food, because I no longer will take from the taxpayers what is due to us in reparations at any age, anywhere, at any time, by anyone of any ecclesiastic criminal violating a member of the household of God. Yes, it's domestic violence in the worst sense. It's institutional incest. And yet, I just got food today from a dumpster. And so, let's go all the way back to the beginning. Let's go back to Genesis, the story of Abel and Cain. I don't know about all of you, but I'm living my best life. I'm giving my best life in Christ for the love of God and the love of gospel. And I asked President Joe Biden, I asked all the Catholic members of the Congress, don't be doing government by gossip. Let's do it by the gospel to one another, and don't worry about what other people aren't doing. It's the story of Cain and Abel. If I'm able to do what I'm doing, then you can't tell me can't. Don't use that four-letter word with me and say you can't. I hope you can hear this, see this, know that this was our shopping for the next couple of weeks. And my ministry, One World Life System, serving one love and developing one world for the common good of humanity, OWLS. It's ecumenical. I work with everyone A to Z, agnostic to Zoroaster. And so I don't look at what people are believing, if they're hungry, if they're thirsty, if they're without housing, if they're without clothing, if they're wrongly imprisoned, if they're dying for justice sake. And most of all, as Isaiah 58, verse 7 said, we're not to turn our back on our own. So live your best life in Christ. Don't give me this crap. I lived in D.C. Let's get rid of this filibuster and act in faith and act in fact. But stop the nonsense and start knowing that in Christ there's no red or blue. There's no Republican or Democrat or independent. There's no right or left. We're all one. We're all whole. And love can never be defeated. But fear is dividing us, and love drives out all fear. So I ask you, are you near to God in government for God and country? Or are you going with the gossip, government by gossip, government by page 6, the gossip column, instead of worrying about who's in what column? Why don't we all line up and in a circle do the dance of the Lord, do the dance of the Spirit, use all of our gifts for the common good? That's what we should be focused on. That's what I appeal to you to help me do. Let's have a Catholic, indeed a Christian, spring We've gone from points of light to now darkness. And I am not going to do a self-immolation to start a Catholic spring. You didn't listen to the man in Tunisia when he did his. You don't listen to the veterans that have committed suicide, 20 a day still. I'm not going to do that because I'm living for all of them. And you're DOA. You're dead on arrival if you say you have faith and you don't have works. So don't talk about jobs. Let's talk about justice. You can't build back better unless you're willing to first take constructive criticism. And I hope you take this as that. I speak the truth with love. I live the truth with love. And my love never fails. It drives out all fear. And it unites. It completes. It makes us whole and makes us one. I love you. I forgive you for whatever you think you may have done. It doesn't matter now. It's time to focus forward in faith, in fact, and most of all, instead of fight or flight, you know what's the real thing? Freedom. Let's live freely, loving one another as we've been loved. Pastor Michael-Vincent Crea and my wonderful working service dog, 24 hours a day. Can you say that? Can you do that for your constituents? Why don't we start first as Catholics? Joe, you greeted Teranga and I here at Cornell. I asked you bring us and let's have a doggy date. Let's have a spiritual summit for service dogs and a Peace Corps veteran who's already overcome 90% of my esophagus gone with esophageal cancer. I'm a daily reviver from cancer. I'm a daily reviver from being violated in 2 seminaries. I'm a daily reviver of not having my work completed in Senegal, where I'm a Peace Corps veteran. Let's have parity for those veterans who weren't killing in the name of the U.S., which I respect that they were called and did their duty. But let's have parity for those of us who served honorably, diligently, and it was a privilege to have the toughest love, the toughest job that anyone could ever love. That's the motto of Peace Corps. That should be our motto as well. Offer people work, put me back to work, and let's talk. We need a spiritual summit with our shepherd dog here, Deacon Teranga, ambassador of respect and hospitality, what her Wolof name means, and your dogs. Well, let's see how good they can get along. Maybe us humans can start saying, I can't, and start living and giving our best as being able. Pastor Michael-Vincent Crea, One World Life Systems, Ithaca, New York. Hoping to be in Rome for my birthday, June 3rd, the feast of St. Charles Lwanga and companions who refused to have sex with the king and then were martyred. Let us not forget all of those who have given their life for the gospel's sake. One love, me, you, yours, each and all of us.